Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to South Boston Speedway. I'm Aaron Johnson with the Johnson iRacing team, bringing you today's race, a 40-lap feature event in the iRacing Advanced Legends Cup Series. Today's feature event will feature drivers from all over the world, a truly international field. Let's have a look at the starting lineup. Starting in position 14 in car number 11, that's Jake Johnson. Jake, the Green Bay Packers Legends car, racing out of Bailey, Colorado. Starting in the 13th spot in car number 7, it's John Tillman in the Monster Energy Legends car, John, out of the Atlantic region. Starting 12th in car number 5, that's Taryn Green in the Thunderbirds Legend car, Taryn from Canada. In the 11th starting spot is Kevin Merida racing in the XRP car number 3, Kevin out of Barberville, Kentucky. In the 10th starting spot, racing out of the international region, it is Evram Ezgi. Starting in the 9th spot, in car number 1, Joe St. Pierre. Joe racing out of Canada in the Logitech Legends car. Starting 8th, in car number 13, it's Angela Afili racing out of Ohio. In the 7th starting spot, in car number 10, that's Cody Griffith. Cody from the Mid-South region. Starting in the 6th spot, in car number 4, that will be Sasha Jurich in the Lionel Racing Legends car, Sasha from the Germany, Austria, Switzerland region. In the 5th starting spot in car number 6, coming to us from Michigan, that's Christopher Jordan. In the 4th starting spot in car number 14, racing out of the Virginias region in the Logitech Legends car of Calvin Insco. Starting 3rd out of the UK Ireland region in car number 9, that is Alex Turner. On the front row outside in car number 2, racing from the Iberian Peninsula, it's Bruno Mendez. And finally on the pole, racing out of the Carolina region in car number 8, that's David Russell. The pace car leads the field down the front straightaway. We have the lights off on the pace car. That means there's one to go. The telemetry is not reflecting the starting lineup properly. I don't know what's going on there. The telemetry should show Jacob Johnson starting last, so something going on with our telemetry. Nevertheless, David Russell sits on the pole. Just to his outside is Bruno Mendez, then Alex Turner, Calvin Insco, Christopher Jordan, and Sasha Jurich. Pace car should come into the pits this time by. That's going to give Russell David a chance to start the race. Pace car is in. David leads them out of the corner onto the front straightaway. The green flag is out. Russell David hammers the throttle and takes the lead as we have the green flag at South Boston Motor Speedway. Russell David leads the field as they come out of turn number 2 onto the back straightaway. Bruno Mendez takes a look to the outside. Mendez trying to make a pass. He's right on Russell David's back bumper, but no dice. Mendez backs off, gives Russell David plenty of room. Now Mendez looks to the inside. He's got a wheel under the 8 of Russell David. Looks like Bruno Mendez is going to lead lap number 1. It's Mendez out front, followed by David, then Alex Turner, Calvin Insco, Sasha Jurich, and Christopher Jordan. Behind them, it's Griffith, Afili, St. Pierre, and Ezgi rounding out the top 10. Bruno Mendez leads the field on lap 2 of 40. Russell David closes in, backs off just a little bit. Looks like David trying to return the favor, but can't close on Mendez as they come out of turn 4 to finish up lap number 2. Mendez continues to lead. It's Mendez, David, Turner, Insco, and Jurich, the top 5. Bruno Mendez out front. Russell David trying to find a way around. David losing a little ground to the 2 of Mendez now. Let's ride along with Mendez as Mendez is stretching out that lead. Bruno Mendez with the lead, followed by Russell David, then Turner, Insco, Jurich, and Griffith. Behind them, it's Afili, Jordan, St. Pierre, and Ezgi with Taryn Green, Kevin Merida, John Tillman, and Jacob Johnson rounding out the field. Johnson has not moved up a bit in the early running here. Bruno Mendez stretches out the lead over the 8 of Russell David. Let's walk back through the field. In second spot is the 8 of Russell David, about 8 car lengths back. Behind David, it should be the 9 of Alex Turner. Turner in second, closing in on David. Following him in the 4th spot, that's the 10 car of Cody Griffith. Behind Griffith's the 14 of Insco, racing hard with the 4 of Sasha Jurich. Behind those 2 cars, it's the 13 of Angela Afili. Then behind them in the 8th spot, it's Christopher Jordan in car number 6. just behind Jordan in car 5. Taryn Green has smacked the wall, so Green goes around. Behind them, it's John Tilghman in the Monster Legends car. Tilghman rounding out the top 10. In the 11th spot, that's the 11 car of Jacob Johnson. Johnson well behind, but he's moved into the 11th spot. Behind Johnson is the 12 of Evram Ezgi. Ezgi, the victim of some sort of an accident. Then behind them, the one of Joe Saint-Pierre is spun around and against the inside rail. He's a lap down. And behind them, the 14 of Kevin Merida. Merida also 2 laps down now, running in the 14th spot. Back out front, Bruno Mendez continues. No, Mendez does not lead, as Russell David has made his way around Mendez to take the lead. Out front, it's Russell David, followed by Bruno Mendez, then Alex Turner, Cody Griffith, and Sasha Jurich. Jacob Johnson has moved into the top 10 after starting 14th. Johnson, a driver to watch, posting one of the faster practice times leading up to the race today. Did not qualify well. Jake Johnson had an issue in qualifying, but he will be a driver to watch. He's moved into the top 10. We're 8 laps into a 40-lap feature event. Russell David now stretching the lead slightly over the 2 of Bruno Mendez. Behind Mendez, it's the 9 of Turner, then Griffith, Jurich, and Insko rounding out the top 6. Angela Afili in 7th, Jordan in 8th, John Tilghman 9th, and Jake Johnson rounding out the top 10. Out front, Russell David stretches the lead to about 6 car lengths over the 2 of Bruno Mendez. David running a nice smooth line, the blue and green 8 car keeping up a frantic pace as these 2 drivers, David and Mendez, are pulling away from the rest of the field. Behind them, it's Alex Turner in 3rd. Turner a fair distance back. Then behind Turner, it's the 10 of Cody Griffith. Griffith also a fair distance back. Behind them, Angela Afili's moved up into the 13th spot, moving past the 6 of Christopher Jordan, who runs in the 6th position. Just behind them, Jacob Johnson beginning to work his way through the field. Johnson in the 7th spot, having started 14th. So Jake Johnson, a car to watch. Behind him, it's the 8 of Tilghman. Sorry, not the 8 of Tilghman, the 7 of Tilghman behind Johnson. That's the Monster Energy car. Then the 14 of Insko and the 4 of Sasha Jurich. Jurich, the last car on the lead lap. Out front, it is still the 8 of Russell David. David running well. Johnson must be experiencing some energy lag. This is a replay from Jake Johnson's laptop, so internet lag creating a problem there. But Russell David out front, followed by the 2 of Mendez, then Turner, Griffith, Afili, Jordan, and Jake Johnson in that 7th position. Behind them, it's Tilghman, Insko, and Jurich. Jurich, the last car on the lead lap, that bright green 4 car, just showing up in your screen. Jurich exiting turn 2 just as the 8 of Russell David was entering. David closing on that lapped car. Sorry, closing on that last car on the lead lap. That is Sasha Jurich. Russell David, a nice, smooth, quick line, really beginning to pull away from Bruno Mendez. Mendez in the 2nd spot, racing out of Iberia. Behind him, it's Turner, Griffith. There's an accident of some sort. Don't know what that was, but we can hear the noise in the speaker. Some kind of an accident. Looks like maybe Bruno Mendez had some trouble. Mendez involved, as was maybe the 6 of Christopher Jordan. Looks like the 6 of Christopher Jordan could well have been involved as well. Back out front, it's the 8 of Russell David. It was the 19. The 19 car was involved. Sorry, not the 19 car. Must have been the 9 car of Alex Turner. Jacob Johnson, through all of that, moves up into the 2nd spot. So Jake Johnson must have been the beneficiary of a number of cars being involved in that accident. As we can see, Johnson is nowhere near the 1st place car of Russell David. Let's walk back through the field one more time. Out front, it's the 8 of Russell David. Behind David in 2nd spot, Jake Johnson, about a 1/3 of a lap behind. Jake Johnson closing. He's running nice quick laps. Will he have enough time to close on the 8 of Russell David? Behind David, it's the 13 of Angela Ofili. Ofili running a nice race. She's giving up a position here to the 6 of Christopher Jordan. Jordan slides up. Ofili looks underneath, tries to do the crossover move. Doesn't look like she's going to have enough car to get it done. So that will drop Angela Ofili to 4th. Behind Ofili, it's the 7 of John Tilghman. That's the Monster Energy car. And then behind Tilghman, it's the 14 of Calvin Insko. Insko, the last car on the lead lap, running in the 7th spot, car number 4, That's Sasha Jurich. Behind Jurich, the 9 of Alex Turner. Turner involved in an accident, as was Bruno Mendez, who currently sits ninth. 2 laps down behind Mendez. The 10 of Cody Griffith is in the pits. Then behind Griffith, it's the 11 of Joe St. Pierre. Sorry, not the 11 of Joe St. Pierre, the 1 of Joe St. Pierre, who now moves up to 10th as he goes past Griffith, who's in the pits. Behind Griffith, the 3 of Kevin Merida. Merida being shown 3 laps down in 12th. Then the 5 of Taryn Green. Green 6 laps down in 13th. And in the 14th spot, Evrim Ezgi has retired from this race. Out front, it's the 8 of Russell David. David continuing to lead. He has at least a 1/3 of a lap lead on the 11 of Jake Johnson. Johnson seems to have nothing for the leader. Out front, Russell David running a nice smooth race. He's in clear, clean air. Nothing here in the way as Russell David picks him up and puts him down going around South Boston Speedway. South Boston, the home track for Ward and Jeff Burton, NASCAR stars who won a few races in the 90s and 2000s. Russell David leads at the halfway point. It's David with a big lead, followed by Jake Johnson, Chris Jordan, O'Feely, John Tilghman, and Calvin Insco. 6 cars remain on the lead lap. We're halfway through at South Boston. Russell David leads. There are 20 laps left. David with a 6-second advantage over the 11 of Jake Johnson. Let's have a look at that 11 car. Johnson looks to the inside of the 2 of Bruno Mendez. Mendez racing Johnson tight. Mendez a lap down, but it's up to Johnson to get by cleanly. Johnson gets a wheel inside, has position well earned now into the corner. It looks like Mendez is going to throw that car in pretty tight. Jake Johnson manages to work his way out of turn 4 onto the front straightaway. Johnson working on lap traffic as he tries to find a way to close on the 8 of Russell David. There are 18 laps to go. Jake Johnson in that Green Bay Packers car now closing on the lap car of Sasha Jurich. Johnson 5 seconds back of the 8 of Russell David. Johnson with a quick race car goes to the outside of the 4 of Jurich. It is hard to pass on the outside here at South Boston, but it looks like Jake Johnson's going to get it done. Out front, it is still the 8 of Russell David. David putting the 14 of Calvin Insco a lap down, so it'll be Russell David leading now. 5 cars on the lead lap. David, Johnson, Jordan, O'Feely, and Tilghman, the 5 cars that remain on the lead lap. There's 17 to go at South Boston. Russell David continues to lead. David rolls through the center of 1 and 2, running a higher line, preserving those tires. Tire management critical in the Legends Cup. These Legends cars are very sensitive to tire wear. Something as simple as scuffing the tires too much as you go around on the pace laps can make a difference at the end of the race in cars that are this sensitive to tire wear. Russell David trying to use that higher line to manage tire wear at South Boston. David running about 1 line up from the yellow apron. Jake Johnson closing. He's about 4.4 seconds back now. Johnson closing 2 to 3/10 of a second per lap. There are 15 laps to go. Johnson about 4 seconds back. It's going to be close whether or not Jake Johnson can catch Russell David. Let's go through the field one more time. David in first. Johnson in second. Behind Johnson, it's the 6 of Christopher Jordan. That's Jordan running in the 6th spot. Then the 13 of O'Feely. She is running in the 4th spot with John Tilghman in the monster car running 5th. Tilghman just in front of the leader. That's Russell David. Russell David working on the 7 of Tilghman, trying to run Tilghman down and put him a lap down. There are 5 cars left on the lead lap. 13 laps to go. Jake Johnson has closed to within 3.5 seconds of Russell David. Will he have the time to run down Russell David and make a race of it? Jake Johnson, the quickest car on the speedway. He was fast in practice, turned some very quick laps in practice, but did not translate that well to qualifying as we watch Russell David go underneath the 7 of Tilghman, put Tilghman a lap down. That leaves 4 cars on the lead lap. David, Johnson, Jordan, and Angela O'Feely. Those are the 4 cars on the lead lap at South Boston. 12 laps to go. Jake Johnson's closed to 3.2 seconds. Johnson continuing to close. We don't really see him in the screen just yet. Johnson mired in traffic Looks like he's fighting the lap 2 car of Bruno Mendez. Mendez had passed Johnson. Now Johnson passed Mendez. Mendez passes Johnson back. Johnson probably on older tires. If Mendez had been involved in an accident, good time when you're repairing damage to go ahead and change those tires. So Johnson trying to deal with that lapped car on newer tires. Still, Johnson looks like he's keeping up well back out front. It's still the 8 of Russell David. There are 10 laps to go. Johnson 3 seconds behind. I don't think he's going to have enough time here. With 10 laps to go, you need to gain 0.3 of a second per lap. Johnson a little over 3 seconds back. Is he going to have the time to make a run on the 8 of Russell David? David in clear air, no one in sight, either in front of or behind him. David needs only to continue to run a nice smooth race and maintain that lead. Let's go back to Jake Johnson. Johnson working on that 2 of Bruno Mendez again. Johnson now looking to the outside. Looks like he's going to try to make a run around the 2 of Mendez. No dice there. Johnson lets Mendez go. It's Jake Johnson trying to figure out how to deal with lap traffic. There are 8 laps left. Johnson closing, looks to the inside of the 2 of Mendez. Mendez slams the door. Lap traffic. Mendez 2 laps down, racing the 1. The 1's not for position. Jake Johnson looks to the inside of the 1. Lap traffic, creating all kinds of problems for Jake Johnson, the fastest car on the lap. But he's having a heck of a time catching up with Russell Davis, who is out front. A little bit of contact there puts the 1 up against the wall. That's going to be a tough crash. But we're going to stay here with Jake Johnson as he and Bruno Mendez are closing on the 8 of Russell David. Johnson looking to the outside of the 2 again. Looks like Mendez got a little bit sideways. There's 7 laps to go. Johnson on the high side, Mendez on the low side. Johnson touches just a little bit with Mendez. Mendez manages to hang on. Mendez driving in very deep, trying to hold that spot. Jake Johnson's going to make his way around Bruno Mendez. Now Johnson trying to close in on Russell David. Johnson about 2.5 seconds back. Can he catch the 8 car of Russell David? David going to have to deal with some lap traffic now. This could work to Johnson's advantage. David looks to the inside of the 13. The 13 stays on the low line. The 1 gives him plenty of room. Johnson closing. The 1 gets a little sideways. The 13 now on the inside. They're going to allow Russell David to go by. There are 5 laps left. Jake Johnson trying to find his way in. Russell David on the outside, the 13 now looking to the inside of Russell David. That's Angela Ophelia. Ophelia, the last car on the lead lap. She's trying to stay on the lead lap. No dice as Russell David gets by. Jake Johnson's in the picture. Where did he come from? 5 laps to go. Jake Johnson now in the picture. He's 5 car lengths back. Johnson closes on the 8 of Russell David. There are 4 laps to go. There's lap traffic involved. David looks to the outside of the 1. That is Joe St. Pierre. Johnson closing on St. Pierre. It is Russell David leading. There are 4 to go. Jake Johnson throws the car into the corner, closes right to Russell David's back bumper. Jake Johnson with a great race car. Russell David down the front straightaway. It's Johnson right behind him. Russell David now 3 to go. David leads. Johnson looks to the outside. No, now looks down to the inside as David slides up. Johnson tries to get a fender underneath. Looks like he's going to make the pass. Jake Johnson's going to go from last to first as Russell David pushes up against the racetrack and gets up against that outside wall. Jake Johnson has taken the lead. There are 3 laps to go. There'll be 2 to go this time by Jake Johnson. Oh, and the 1 spins right in front of the second place car. That is Joe St. Pierre with a spin. That's going to hamper Russell David as there are 3 cars left on the lead lap. Jake Johnson runs from last to first. There are 2 to go. Johnson down the back straightaway, headed into turn number 3. Jake Johnson leads, followed by Russell David, then Christopher Jordan. Don't know what's going to shake out after Russell David was involved in that incident with Joe St. Pierre. Johnson down the front straightaway is going to take the white flag. Jake Johnson with 1 to go rolls the car into turn number 1. Russell David looks like he's going to continue to be in the second spot with Christopher Jordan third, followed by Ophelia and John Tilghman. Johnson down the back straightaway. That Green Bay Packer Legends car, quickest on the racetrack today. Johnson, great all day in practice, rolls through 3 and 4 now out onto the front straightaway. Jake Johnson's going to take the win here at South Boston. Jake Johnson takes that victory in the second spot. It will be the 8 of Russell David. David was in second, ended up a lap down, it looks like, to Jake Johnson, as Johnson ends up putting a lap on the field, mostly because of that incident. It's going to be David second, Jordan third, John Tilghman fourth, Angela Ophelia fifth, with Ensko sixth, Sasha Jurich seventh, Alex Turner eighth, Bruno Mendez 9th, and Kevin Merida rounding out the top 10. Behind them, Taryn Green will finish 11th, Joe St. Pierre 12th, Cody Griffith in 13th, and Evram Esgi in 14th. Well, Jake Johnson ran a tremendous race, started out in the 14th spot, moved up to 11th, then dropped back down to 14th before working his way all the way to the front. I'll tell you, folks, with 10 laps left, I wouldn't have given a plug nickel for Jake Johnson's chances to win this race. But lap traffic slowed down the leader just enough that Jake Johnson could run him down and take the victory. For the Johnson iRacing team on the Johnson iRacing Network, this is Aaron Johnson saying, go fast, turn left, have fun.